Oh my god. Okay, I'm not a nuclear physicist, first of all. I just like reading about this stuff, but I don't remember if it's one of the two nuclear forces. Pretty much, there's a reason that black holes only form from stars, and it has to do with the interaction between those forces. So, like I said before, where a black hole is an implosion and a supernova is an explosion, that has to do with how those two forces work. The reason that you tend to only get supernovas from the largest stars is because when the large stars supernovas, the core collapses in on itself as a result. So you get this singularity forming at the very center of it, and everything else just explodes outwards. And that's how you get your black hole.
Neat. And terrifying at the same time.
It's kind of why having the ability to make one as people from a planet is kind of scary. Like, so you see how big it is right now?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
This would not form from a planet. Just take that. What we see right now is way too big if a planet did it on its own.
what would it have to be to reach its size in like real life?
Oh, this would have to be a very large star. This would be a large star would create this kind of black hole. It is way too big for a planet because black holes. So a black hole is a single point in space where all the mass of an object is contained. So theoretically, anything can become a black hole if you compress the matter to a tight enough point in space.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's infinite mass and infinite density. Which is how you're able to have a minuscule volume with infinite density because it's an infinite mass. But something this large would not come from a planet. This is way too big. So what you're actually seeing, you're not seeing the singularity, which is at the very center of what we see. What we're actually looking at is the event horizon. So you see that sort of like ring around the pitch black?
Yeah, the kind of white purple.
That's the event horizon. That is where when you get past that point, you're never coming back.
Yeah.
But the scary thing though is that even though the event horizon is the point of no return, it's only the point where you could theoretically no longer return. So to escape a black hole, you actually have to make a sacrifice. If you were to get caught in its pull, like so right now where we're at, so the ships aren't falling in because we have the reverse thrust that we can put in.
Yeah, your ship is. Look at your ship right now.
I know. it's having to really work to not get pulled in.
Yeah.
But you see like all this matter like flowing in, right?
Yep.
So like let's say my ship were to get caught in the gravity of the black hole and start drifting towards it. Like the reverse thrusters are no longer enough to keep it from getting pulled in. Something would have to be sacrificed from the ship to be able to get out of the black hole's gravity. Because the problem is, so gravity is based on mass. The force of gravity, it's oh god, what is it? mv squared, if I remember correctly. Yeah. So because of that, you have to reduce the mass of what you want to escape from the black hole, and the only way to do that is to throw like something overboard. So we would have to like throw food supplies or something off the ship and into the black hole to reduce the weight to be able to overcome the force pulling us in.
Detach the guns.
Something would have to go from the ship. Something heavy.
The guns.
Probably the guns, if you can. But something would have to go if it were to start getting pulled in, because the closer and closer you get, the stronger that gravity is going to get, and the harder it's going to be. So something has to go.
Yeah. What I want to know is, why is it that media portrays black holes as being visible, while in real life, black holes are nigh near invisible?
Yeah, I just so you can actually understand what you're looking at, Hollywood. I mean, theoretically, yeah. honestly, dramatization. I mean, if all this, the reason why I say we shouldn't be able to see this is because of all this dust that we see around us. This wouldn't be just on one side of the black hole. This should be like all around it.
Yeah.
Um, if this were like a perfectly clear like section of space and there weren't all this dust and debris flowing in, we would probably actually be able to see the black hole because we would see the stars that are behind the black hole.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure you know light doesn't escape a black hole, right?
Yeah.
But what about light that isn't necessarily flowing directly into a black hole? Have you thought of that before?
I have actually not. Like, I don't give this much thought, really.
Well, I'm giving you this thought now.
Yeah.
So what do you think happens with light that isn't necessarily flowing into a black hole, but is sort of kind of like flowing near it, but to the sides?
I mean, wouldn't the light start to be like affected by the gravity pull then?
Exactly. And so what happens is, so the light from the stars that, like if this was perfectly clear and it's like we can see stars all around, the light from the stars that are directly behind the black hole, that light would get bent around the black hole. So we would actually be able to see behind it.
Oh.
Because the light that comes from those stars would be kind of getting curved around the black hole. You can almost think of it like with cars. Have you ever seen like airflow tunnels for cars?
Yeah.
How the air will flow over and around the car? You can think of it like that for light. So the light will flow over the top and the sides of the black hole, and that's why when you see like artist renditions from NASA, how you see like the weird like shining on the edges of the black hole.
I mean, have you
That's
seen?
that's the light getting bent around it. No, you're fine.
Have you seen the one photo of an actual black hole being photographed?
Oh yeah, cool stuff.
Yeah, and I think the outline is exactly what you're describing right now. Is the light of stars being kind of
Yep.
just pulled around it, and that's how
Yep,
we were
it
able to
is.
see at least the outline of one.
Right, because you can't actually see the singularity because the light doesn't escape. So what we actually see and perceive in the world is just light reflecting off of things.
Mm-hmm.
Like these things aren't necessarily these colors. These are just the colors that these materials reflect. So like if you pick up like your keyboard, what color is it?
Black.
Yeah, that keyboard is black not because the property of that matter is actually black, but because it reflects black light back to you.
And of course, I have the RGB lighting.
Right, well the lights themselves are actually emitting that color of light.
Yeah.
But if something doesn't emit a certain light color, the color you see is the color of light that is reflected back to your eyes. It's not actually that color, everything's colorless. Unless it emits light, there is no actual color on something. It absorbs all other wavelengths and reflects back the one you see. Black holes just absorb light. Light doesn't escape it, that's why you can't see one, because it doesn't reflect a light back to you.
And I guess that's the terrifying thing about black holes is that like literally nothing can escape them.
Nope. You want to know the scariest thing though?
Hmm.
Black holes are not infinite. Black holes will eventually die out as well. Did you know that?
Huh. I mean,
So,
I knew they moved, but
So have you heard of the heat death of the universe?
no.
So the heat death of the universe is the theorized like end of everything, where the last stars in the world finally die out and there's no more actual matter to create new stars because there's just no more energy. The universe is not infinite. Eventually, like gazillions of years from now, there will be no energy left in the world.
Some
Except
10-year-old's
for-
gonna have a panic attack hearing this.
Right? Are you gonna post it on YouTube?
Yes.
Oh my god. I am not a nuclear physicist, for anyone wondering. I just happen to pick up a lot of information.
Nerd.
Says the guy recording it.
Nerd times 2.
Well, but the really interesting thing though is that in the theorized heat death of the universe, even black holes will eventually die out too, because of something called Hawking radiation, which is pretty much a, oh god, how to explain it in a way that I remember. Think of it as like the black holes very, very, very slowly shedding off a tiny little bit of energy.
Hmm.
Just a very small amount, like almost like cutting off your fingernails.
Or like a massive battery that can't be recharged.
Yeah, it's like very, very slowly they're going to be hemorrhaging energy, and eventually even black holes will die out because as
So,
they shed energy, their event horizon shrinks by a tiny bit.
so,
And when it runs, sorry,
so when they die, what happens?
they're just gone.
They'll just dissipate.
Yeah, into nothing.
What about the stuff?
Because,
What
go
about
on.
what about the stuff trapped in that was sucked into black holes? Is it all destroyed,
Yeah,
or
so it's important that it's energy being shedded from the black hole, and that relates back to Einstein's theory of E equals mc squared. So mass and energy are the exact same thing,
Mhm.
because E equals mc squared is energy is equal to mass times the speed of light squared. So if the black holes are slowly shedding off energy, that means they're slowly shedding off their infinite mass. And when they run out of energy, that mass just dissipates. It's just gone. Terrifying stuff, right?
Yeah,
But I mean, we won't be around for this, right? We're gonna die out, and the universe will still have like
something.
billions upon
Cockroaches.
billions of years to go. Right, exactly. Like we are a speck in the grand scheme of the entire universe.
Okay, Omni Man.
I'm serious. I'm not kidding. Like everyone is always so freaked out about like everything going on. It's like in the grand like total plan for everything, we are a leaf in the wind. We are insignificant.
Yeah, but
The
we are.
universe will continue to chug on long after we've died. Long after we've probably gone extinct as a species.
And I think, well, for all we know, we are the only living beings in this universe, really. Like, besides
Yeah.
microorganisms, like, that's
Even
it.
then, we haven't actually proven that.
Yeah,
So
I mean, there's always the theories of aliens existing, but those will just,
sure, and I mean,
those will just
it's
remain
no
theories until there's concrete evidence of them actually existing.
right, and I mean, believing in aliens is no different than believing in God, right? Because we can't actually physically prove it. So
Yeah, it's all on, like, well, for
it's
God,
all faith.
it's all faith.
Well, it's the same thing for aliens. We have no proof of aliens existing.
Yeah. Except the concept of believing in God has existed for far longer than aliens.
There have been there have been like cave paintings and like old versions of belief in aliens. So I wouldn't say necessarily that it's only a recent phenomenon.
Yeah, fair enough.
I
Yeah,
mean, as a species, we've always had a wonder of the stars and what's beyond our rocky confines.
yeah. And I think also, well, not really a terrifying thing, but a sad thing is we're alone.
As
Like,
far as we know.
like, okay, let's think kind of practically for a moment. We haven't, there hasn't been like any other sign of actual, like, up to human scale life. Microorganisms don't count.
Well, we can't necessarily prove their existence on other planets, anyways.
Yeah, but like, we are humans and Earth. The conditions on Earth and humans and pretty much everything that's on Earth is one of a kind in this universe.
As far as we know.
Yeah, as far as who knows? There could be an Earth 2 with the other people.
Maybe it's all just a simulation.
Yeah, maybe there is a multiverse where there's a General and William having this conversation right now. Except the black hole's on an automaton front and not a Terminate front.
Maybe the black hole's in War Thunder. And there goes his SU-27.
Oh, wait, there's the felon.
Couldn't cover his way out of that one. Yeah, I mean, this is what it is. I mean,
It is what it is.
not really much we can do about it.
Nope. Just do what we have with the time we have.
And we spend it shooting robots and bugs.
I mean, what else is there to do right now?
Shoot real life robots and bugs?
Okay. Yeah, sure. Let me bring out my 12 gauge to shoot the spider that's on the roof.
Hey, you haven't lived till you flamed through a wasp nest. I like my bugs extra crispy.
Quispy.
God, those noises are so eerie.
Yeah.
I feel like my ship is slowly drifting closer.
Might just be an illusion.
Sus.
Sus.
This is gonna come back to bite us. I'm telling you, man, it is.
Yeah. What I'm also worried about is if we have to do this again.
We just start creating black holes everywhere, and then that ends up becoming the entry port. Like they just show up. The Illuminate just shows up.
God. I mean, it's not out of the question. It's not out of the realm of possibility. I mean,
No, it is not.
this major order on Meridia to destroy Meridia has opened Pandora's box, and there's no closing it now.
Yeah, that's the unfortunate thing, is that now that we've done this, there's no putting this genie back in that bottle.
Allied destroyer has left squadron.
Oh, did you get kicked?
I'm about to say, I just got warped into Meridia.
Oh. I think you got kicked from being inactive.
I would say, I think, no, you left the game. You got kicked.
What?
The host has left the game.
Siege upon managed continues.
Okay.
Let's rally to our defense.
You have been kicked.
I mean,
Were you actually kicked?
no.
Huh.
It just says that you left my game.
It says the host has left the game.
I think Helldivers is just being weird right now.
I think Helldivers trying to tell us something.
Yeah, go to sleep.
But who needs sleep? Sleepers for the weak.
Weak.
Yeah, that's you.
I'm still here.
So am I.
You wanna know who's not here?
You.
Oddman.
Ain't that the truth?
The war rages on. Choose where you will give your aid.
I want to do missions on Meridia.
Okay.
I want to do missions. let me do a mission.
Sure, buddy. Sure. Whatever you say, bud.
Why won't it let me do missions?
I'm gonna head back to Vernon
Or
Wells.
Tinder.
The box will churn this planet into scrap if we do not act now.
Notice he didn't say no.
No.
Oh.